Hi, my name is Karen Wilson, and this is Gracie. Gracie's had a rough start. I adopted her, rescued her from Nebraska. Little did I know that what they told me about her wasn't exactly true. So when I got her, she was very fear aggressive, wouldn't let anybody near me or in the house or on the property or anything. No dogs, no people. The only person she liked was my husband, but he was in bed sick, so terminal. So I guess he wasn't a threat to her. So it turns out that I got a letter from the people that previously had her. I was her fourth home in what they said was a year. And they told me that she was in a kennel for 20 hours a day, really had no socialization with any other dogs, with any people. And it just kind of broke my heart. Barkbusters, and the gentleman came up a few times. It was supposed to be a lifetime guarantee. It never did work. And then after a few times of coming up, he started to charge me because he had to drive up the mountains. I was really disappointed. I felt like I'd been taken for a ride, and finally we just stopped calling him altogether. She really was almost worse than when he first started coming. And then time went by, and I figured that this was how this dog was going to be. And she's up all night protecting the house. She doesn't sleep. She's like working all the time, on guard. I was cleaning a house for a woman named Nancy, and she recommended Moshi. And so I said, I don't know about this dog. I think she's not fixable. She said, Moshi said he can fix any dog. Every dog is fixable. So I called him, and look at her now, huh, Grace? She's a little shaky, but she doesn't like to be on camera. But she's a totally different dog. She gets along with people. She's still a work in progress, but 180-degree difference than what she was when we started. I'd recommend him hands down. It's amazing.
Good morning. My name is Mark Hendrickson. I live here in Evergreen, Colorado. I have my dog Lena, who is now 6 months. When we first rescued Lena, she was only 12 weeks, and it was at that point that we started, my wife and I started to consider how we wanted to enjoy, our dog. And we understood and really believed in the power of training, and so that we can live a more sort of happy lifestyle and not be worried about the dog's health and safety. We had 2 collies that have passed away since last summer, and what brought us to the difference maker was actually we used another service for the dog washing, the remote dog bathing that we engaged these guys with last summer. So we thought, hey, let's pursue learning about their other offers, because they did such a good job with the dog wash, and had such compassion with our dogs. We thought this might be a good start. After I picked up the phone, spoke with Moshi, we learned a little bit more through some of his online YouTube videos, and quickly understood the method that he stands behind and guarantees, and it became another conversation for my wife and I. So after we had a good conversation about what our ultimate outcomes were, we really believed in looking through the testimonials and hearing from some of the other clients Moshi's worked with. We said, I think we can put our trust in him. So we engaged, we began working, and it was within days that we started to see the results that we were looking for. So combined with this background and the experience and the compassion that the difference maker, Moshi brought to us, we added our dedication along with, the good, pleasant heart of our young dog, and weeks later we were finding the results that we're looking for, and we're very, very happy. So we no longer have to be concerned about her running away without a leash. She comes on command. I jog with her, several times a week without the concern that she's going to stray away from me and get hit by a car, or that she's going to attack another dog that's nearby. So we've been very, very pleasantly surprised and very satisfied with the results. And what really became the benefit above and beyond the entire experience is that we'll be able to bring these skills forward with dogs that we'll have in the future, and be able to take these skills forward and continue to have a happy and safe lifestyle with dogs from here to come. So thank you very much, Difference Maker. So I would strongly recommend the Difference Maker to anyone who's considering dog training that works, dog training that's sustainable, and one that's fair and balanced for yourself, your family, and of course for your loved one, your dog.
But you have to say that you recommend me because of my good looks too.
Get out
I
of
don't know if I can sign off on that one.
Well, good afternoon. This is Quinn. Quinn's a 11-month-old Bouvier puppy, and we got him, Quinn, when he was just about 12 weeks old, and started training when he was about 9 months old, and so maybe a little bit younger than that. But anyhow, we had some friends that had a dog, and we knew they were having problems with them, and it was their son's dog, and they finally took the dog in, and our friends were praised the training that Mushy did, and what a great job he did, and she's pretty hard to please, but for her to praise like that, I thought, well, that's got to be something. And so one day I'm in Home Depot, and I'm going through Home Depot, and I ran into her and her husband and the dog, and she says, and I knew the dog, and I knew some of the problems that he was having, and so she said, oh, you won't believe how well he's doing. And she went through all the commands, and she had the dog sit and stay, and she walked around the corner at the Home Depot, and she was gone, a little bit. The dog just sat there, didn't move. She came back around the corner, and the dog stayed there. And that's not the dog that I had seen the previous month before. So we called Mushy, and said, well, we want to do some training, and so he came over, and we did the very basic training. Like I said, he was still a young pup, and the first few times of training, they were pretty rough, because if you're not familiar with the Bouvier, they can be a very stubborn breed, and can be very difficult to work with. They've got a mind of their own. But the Bouvier came from the Benelux country, and they were used during the First and Second World War as cart dogs, and they're big, strong animals, and they're also used for herding cattle and sheep. And so, sit down, buddy. And so, but very, very stubborn, very independent. So we started the process of training. I think we did 6-7 weeks was the first training periods that we went through for because there's different courses you can take along the way and move from one to the next. So, but the first time we had him on the leash, he was just like a wild bull, and just jumping and yelping all over the place. And I was thinking, oh my God! I said, this is not going to be good. But by the end of the first day, we had him on leash. We were doing the heel and the walking side by side, and considering that he was still a young pup, I thought, well, this is pretty good. So we went through the whole, I think it was like 6 or 8 weeks, I can't remember, but everything on leash, sit, stay, down, and so we got all that down real good, and I was so impressed with it. I said, well, what can we do to take it to the next level? Bruce said, well, we can do the off-leash part, but he says, this is not going to be easy. He says, this is a very stubborn breed. And I said, well, I think I've been working with him long enough now that we can take him off-leash. And so we started working with him off-leash, and we're coming up here, I think, on 7 weeks now. And he does the heel commands, doesn't leave my side, sits, stays. If I go hide somewhere in the woods, and he'll stay till I call him, and then he'll come running. They're a great breed, and to get them to the point where we did, because this is my fifth Bouvier, and knowing how difficult it was training the other 4, this was the easiest training that we've ever been through, and we couldn't be more pleased with the results that we've got. So if you're looking for somebody to work with that's going to be fair and honest with you, and the value you get from his training, we couldn't be more pleased. I think there's a lot of conversations, and I think it's not about also training the dog, it's more about training the dog owner on trying to, you know, the discipline that it takes and the time and the energy that you really have to put into it. And if you're committed to it, Lucy does a fantastic job, and I've used other dog trainers in the past, and I always didn't like their technique, but I couldn't be more pleased with the results. Not only did they come quickly, but I can see where they're going to be sustainable for the rest of the life of the dog.
Hi, my name is Adamson. I live here in Dumont, Colorado. So we first got her, and from earlier then, you know, as a little puppy, she had a lot of energy. She had no control, and she was not house trained. So we had a lot of issues from the start, as you would with any normal puppy. So we reached out to our groomer, who's also an excellent dog trainer, and we started on till now, and the training lasted about 8 to 9 weeks. And from the first week, we already saw little improvement with her behavior. It wasn't, you know, completely obliterated. It wasn't completely done away with, but we saw a little improvement around the house, and that's when we knew the training would absolutely work. And we started with the basics. We started with heel command, which for her was, as a high energy dog, was very difficult, because as huskies, they love to, you know, they love to play, they love to be distracted by anything, and they love to think on their own. So we knew that from the start that some commands would be a lot harder for her, because she was still little and she's also a husky. So once we got the heel down, it took about 2 weeks, and from there we started seeing a lot more improvement around the house. She wasn't peeing in the house. She would now go into rooms that, you know, she wasn't allowed in, and she became more of a house dog. You know, she'd come, sit, lay down, and she would listen to the commands even inside the house. And so once we got that down, everything else kind of followed through. We did the come command, and as stubborn as she was, you know, little by little, it would slowly all break away, and we'll, you know, chip it slowly, and she eventually got a lot better with just listening to the e-collar. And so, you know, here we are at the end of our course, and she is an excellent house dog, and not just at the house, but also outside. And that's why we absolutely recommend our dog trainer here, because she would not be the same with, you know, should not be the same if it wasn't for you guys. So we thank you so much, Moshi, and we appreciate everything you did.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, the difference maker dog trainer, Moshi Caffrey, Exo Service.